Hey, it's Mary with the Painted Peach again. Today I'm in the Halloween town, all things Halloween collaboration with Shabby Meets Bling, Up All Night DIY, and the guest host is Indiana Jones. This is DIY number 1. I'm using these pieces that I got from Chalk Couture. They match up to some transfers or stencils, whichever you call it. This is Fright This Way, and it has this little bone hand, and then I have the skull that goes with this transfer. We're going to use these today to make a cute little sign for Halloween. I'll be using this paint that I got on clearance at Hobby Lobby, some purple, and I'm showing you the green, but I won't be using it, but I just wanted to show that they were on clearance. So always check your clearance department and you can get some good paints. This one is a really deep dark purple and it almost dries black, so it's kind of hard to tell it's purple on the screen once it's dry. I cover the whole board with the paint. Now this is just the back of a board from a sign that I got from Dollar General. Now I'm just adding some chapstick. This is Vaseline based chapstick, and I'm adding it into certain areas. Then I'm taking wax and rubbing it everywhere, and then I'm taking my Mod Podge and adding it to certain areas. This is going to give me 3 different ways to get some distressing. The Mod Podge will do some crackle, the Vaseline will rub right off and give me that chippy look, and then the wax will give me a smaller chippy look where I'm going to use tape to get that effect. So now I'm just covering my whole board with some chalk paint. I think this is sheepskin that I'm using. And I'm going to get the whole thing covered. Once I do that, we're going to dry it really well. And then I'll show you the crackle. So the crackle happens when you dry, and that's a really pretty crackle. And now I'm just going to take my tape, this is just regular packing tape, and I'm going to pull up the paint for the chippy look. This is a less messy way to get that chippy effect. You just want to make sure you kind of squeegee it on there a little bit just to get a good adhesion to your board. And now I'm just going to try to get some more off of there because I wanted a little bit more chippy. I end up sanding it a little bit to get a nice smooth finish. And I'm showing you the back. That was the board. And here is how it turned out. I think that's really nice for a Halloween look. I do take the sander there and get all the icky stuff off just in case, because I am using a stencil on this that is sticky on the back, so we don't want it pulling it up. Now I'm using some surface wax. This is a choice that I used to use. I don't really use it as much now because I feel like it, I don't know, it just interferes with my stenciling. But you would put the surface wax on there, get it good and rubbed in, and then you would take a dry side of your towel and wipe it back off, kind of like you are waxing a car. Now I'm using some black chalk paint and a sponge, and I'm getting the whole little skeleton arm and hand and making them black. Here I am adding that wax to this as well, because when I put that sticky transfer on there, it could pull up my paint off of this surface. This surface is made for chalking on, and sometimes the paint just doesn't stick to it as good as you'd like. Alright, now I'm just adding a little bit of lint to the back of my transfer because I need it to not be so sticky and pull up my paint like we just talked about. Sometimes when you do that, you get some big fuzzies on there that will interfere with your chalking, so you want to get them off. And then you just line that right up onto your skeleton arm. And then I'm going to use the color Dune to go over this whole thing. I also mixed some glow-in-the-dark paste in with my dune right here. That's what you see me doing. And that will make my little skeleton arm glow in the dark. Wizards in the moonlight, ghosts come out to play. Chill runs down my spine in this haunted night. Shadows in the corner, unknown whispers near. Mystery all around, it's a spooky cheer. Halloween's so scary, tight pace through the dark. Wizards casting. Now I am going to do the skull. I'm going to use these transfer cutter scissors to take off just the skull so that I can put it right back on here whenever I get done after I clean it. And then we're going to take some dune paste and we are going to paint the whole skull with that dune paste. I'm using a makeup sponge and I'm just dabbing it on, not rubbing. These surfaces you really need to just dab. It seems like it works better. In the corner, unknown whispers near. Mystery all around, it's a spooky cheer. Halloween's so scary, tight pace through the dark. Wizards casting spells, ghosts leave their mark. Now I'm just using the black velvet paste and going over the whole skull with that, and I'm just taking off my excess and scraping it back into the jar when I get it all covered. Now that we have them both finished, we're going to set them on there where we think we want them, and then we're going to take the sign transfer again and we're going to use the words "Fright This Way." I'm going to use a couple of purple colors on this, and it's going to be kind of an ombre effect. I'm showing you some different colors, but what I end up using is the two purples. So I take the dark purple and put it at the top, and then I take the more lavender color and put it at the bottom of the words, and then I kind of use my finger to smear them into each other in the middle. This gives the effect of them going from dark to light without that stark line in the middle. And here it is, the ombre effect. It's really fun to do, and I think it looks amazing. All right, so now that we've got that, we want to add our skeleton on here, and the way I want to add him is to make it look like he's holding, like putting his arm around the sign, so he's kind of behind it. So his head's going to be kind of tilted to the top. I'm using some Quick and Thick, I think is what this is called, and then a little bit of hot glue for an instant hold. Get the head on there, and then we're going to make the arm kind of tilt as if he's holding around the sign. We're going to do the same thing here with the tight bond and the hot glue, and then we have our sign. Spooky night with the moon so high, kids in costumes running by, pumpkins glowing in the dark, laughter echoes. Here I'm taking a part of another transfer. It has a little spider web on it. I do end up making a spider hanging down from this in the end, and you'll see that in the final reveal. Here it is, all finished up. I really love the way it looks like he's just tucked behind that sign. And there's his little spider hanging down. And I just love the chippy look on there. I hope you like this too. Here's DIY number 2. I have this surface that I got from Bell's Outlet, and I'm going to take all this stuff off of it, and we're going to sand down the edges of it. And then I'm going to use a little bit of white paint to go over those edges just to make sure they stay white. And then we're going to paint the whole thing. There you see me adding a little bit of chapstick to the edges of it so that I can do some little bit of rubbing off that paint on the edges to give an outline. So now we're doing all black chalk paste all over on the sides, the top, and the bottom as well. And then we're going to make sure it's super dry, and then we're going to get those edges nice and white. I'm showing you now that I'm using some pieces from Diydecor, and I just cut them up, and I'm going to use the part of the arrow to make the nose, and we're going to paint that with some rusty color chalk paste. Here I am distressing the edges of that, and then we're going to get back to this and distress those edges. I'm just taking a paper towel and wiping that paint off, and then coming behind it with a paint scraper, and that is our cute little outline. Now I'm getting some double-sided foam tape, and we're going to use that to attach our piece. We're going to use a Posca pen to draw on some eyes. So I just do that, and then we use some paint to fill them in. Can you guess what we're making yet? Now I'm just using that Posca pen to draw in some little goofy eyes. I'm making them be cross-sided. Cross-eyed. Words are hard. And here is the little beak. Yes, we are making a goofy crow. I'm going to attach it with that double-sided foam tape, and I did a little bit of hot glue just in case. His little beak is crooked too, so I'm loving that. And we're just taking some jute twine and wrapping it around the bottom just to give it a little something extra down there. And he's looking super cute. Now I have a little tag that we're going to do, and a little star. We're going to paint that star with that same orange color, and we're going to add a little bit of distressing on the sides. I think I add some Distress Oxide, and then I come back in with some Waverly wax because it wasn't distressing enough for me. So I'll show you that when I get it nice and finished up. Then we're going to do our tag, and then we'll attach it to our crow. Jack-o'-lanterns glowing bright, children playing in the night, costumes on and candy sweet, ready for the trick or treat. Ghosts and goblins all around, footsteps making spooky sound, pumpkins lit and witches brew, Halloween's a dream come true. Halloween, party time, run and hide, I'll seek you find. Now I'm grabbing out some of my stamps that I got from, I think these were from the Dollar Tree, truthfully, and we're just going to spell out the words "got corn." I thought that would be super cute for a crow, since, you know, he's always after the corn. And we're just going to use some distress ink and in the color black and put it right on, or I'm not sure, I think it's charcoal or something, coal, I don't know. Anyways, we're going to use the black color, and we're going to put it right on that tag in a little slanted way, and then we're going to add the star to that. But first we're going to put a little piece of jute on there to add it to our crow. After this video, I end up adding a little bit of a black feather to the top of its head. I don't show that in camera, but he gets a cute little feather, and here he is. Isn't he precious? Got corn? All right, here is DIY number 3, and this is a kit that I got. I don't even remember where I got it from. Actually, when I was doing this, I had said the wrong person, and they corrected me, but this is a cute little witch's clothesline kit, and it's all kinds of cute little stuff, little socks and boots and a witch hat and a dress and a broom, and then it has the little clothesline hung in between some scary trees. So we're just going to paint this all up. I use tape on this piece of cardboard, and we just stick our pieces straight onto that tape and use a sponge to paint them up. Sometimes I use a paintbrush too, but it's much better to use a sponge with these little wood pieces. And it looks like I do use a brush this time. Typically I'll use a makeup sponge or one of those car wash sponges from the dollar store. I'll cut them up and use them, but I guess I was using brushes on this go round. I'm using some different chalk paste. I used a black velvet, and this is, I'm not sure what color purple that was, but it is a very deep purple that I used on that. And then we're doing the boots and the hat, and then the little socks will be black and white. The little Posca pins come in handy for those little shoelaces and the little stripes in between the black on the socks and the buttons on the dress. I would not ever be able to paint that without those pins. Now I'm just getting that bottom piece and painting it with the black chalk paste as well. And then we're going to be putting this cute little kit together.
Halloween, kids are dancing full of glee. Ghosts are hiding in the night, ready for a spooky.
We're going to take this cauldron transfer, and we're going to use this chalk suede paper from Chalkator. I'm not a real big fan of the chalk suede paper, but I had it, so I used it. and I just don't like it because I feel like it smears really easily, and this actually does get smeared by my cat off camera and I end up having to fix it. Anyways, we're going to use that same dark purple color, and we're going to use that, and then we're going to use white to put on some words. The words that I use say, "Look what you made me brew." I think that's hilarious. Anyways, we're going to put that on our cauldron, and then we're going to add that to our cute little witch clothesline.
Children never wonder why. Holding hands we stand as one till the battle is done. Protect the princess.
Now I'm just going to fussy cut that right out of that chalk suede, and it'll be ready. I'm using that black Posca pen just to fill in those white spots around the handles. I didn't want to cut those out, so I just filled them in, and now we're just setting it up, and here it is all finished up. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I hope that you'll check out all of these host pages and the playlist. If you like what you see, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, hit that bell, and as always, stay peachy. See you soon.